Oh my god, he did it! The absolute madman, he did it! Okay. I'm just running in the 90s. Maybe nice to me. Hey, boys! Holy shit, H-bomb. He killed Theresa. Rip Parliament. He did it! He did it! The boy done good. He did it. Oh, God. I need to fucking call my family members. I have some... Oh, Forge is enabled. Jeez. So many of my... I don't even know who some of my family voted. But I'm willing to bet Labour Party member, lady in family, I should call. Oh man. I cannot, like, okay, cards on the table. I think that proportional representation and alternative vote were good ideas. I think I think it's great. I think hung parliaments are really interesting, and I'm kind of against like, in a way, I kind of wish that we didn't have a thing where a party leaded the country. I like the idea of there being this more collective thing, in the interests of the country as a whole. And that sucks, but whatever, it's fine. And they might get in bed with the DUP, and might get into that. K Shizzle Bizzle asks, did I cause beef between you and Max Landis? No, I caused beef between me and Max Landis. By tweeting very inappropriate, weird jokes that could only be interpreted as me thinking he sucks and is bad, and I don't actually think that. Like, I have heard some really shit stuff about him down the pipeline over the years, like over the actual, like, not a decade, like since like 2011. But I would like the chance to talk to him about that, and see. I'd like to find out if he's someone I want to maybe have in my life, more directly than that. I don't know. And I may have fucked that opportunity up, but whatever, we'll see. I think I have this strange feeling that he tweeted about how much of an asshole I am, or how much people still hate him because of things he said in the past, and then immediately went to sleep, and I feel really bad about that. So, why did I do that? Get out of here. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Mr. Reaper's coming to town. Winston. More like Deadston. Where'd he go? Oh, he did the thing. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Refresh my memory. Who is Max Landis? Max Landis is the director of American Ultra. He's working on the new Dirk Gently show. What else did he do? He made some other films. Which it might actually be better for his reputation if I don't say. No, he also made Wrestling Isn't Wrestling and The Death and Return of Superman, which were two YouTube videos that very directly inspired a lot of my work. I really like. I think Serious Lore Analysis is basically just stealing his thing and doing it semi-sarcastically, but it's kind, I don't know. I'd like to talk to him, and may have fucked that up, but hey, I don't know. One of those things. I also jokingly retweeted someone saying, I also wish that you were H-Bomber guy, or something along those lines, and I'm a little worried about that. Yeah, he wrote American Ultra, he didn't make it. I think he's a good... I don't know, I think he's a better director of actors than he is a screenwriter, which is a shame, because his screenwriting isn't as, his show running, I don't know. My opinion of his work has only gotten better over time, because his work's gotten better. I think it's weird that he got work initially, I don't understand how. Oh no, I actually do know, John Landis. But his actual work now is oh, I would have actually hired this guy. it makes sense. So, like, I'm curious to talk to him about his arc, and, like, you know, physically talk. Also, maybe I'm a little starstruck, you know, a celebrity mentioned he wanted to be me, so I do kind of want to, you know, that's the highest compliment you can get from Max Landis, a comparison to himself. You know, I want to channel that, but, you know, I can live with, you know, whatever. I hope he doesn't hate me or think I hate him. Anyway, more importantly, the chances of a fucking conservative parliament with the DUP is pretty scary. I'm not happy about that, but the significant losses of the Conservative Party and the significant win, let's call it a win for Labour, after, like, the prediction that they would lose all of their fucking seats and melt down, is like a catastrophic failure for the Tories. Having to get into bed with the anti-gay marriage people, like, or the anti-gay existing, rather, people, after Theresa May taking over and her thank you speech being like, thank you for bringing gay marriage in, David Cameron. Like, that's gonna be a nightmare coalition. And that's like, they've completely fucked themselves. And that can only be a good thing for the future of British politics. So I can't wait. Oh yeah, anti-Catholic existing too, yeah. Which, like, I'm not super hot on any religion, but I'm not against them. I'm not against the existence of people who believe in the thing, you know? I've read a lot of holy books, and my postmodernist, horrific leftist nightmare death of the author approach to religious literature means that I think I enjoy all of them a little bit, and I think there's some interesting stuff to interpret in almost every one of the books I've read. And, like, it's really bad when people are like, you know, let's kill the Catholic people. Like, I don't know. That's the thing I always worried about, back when being an atheist was a big part of my identity, and I watched, you know, the Matt Dillahunty owns atheists on YouTube videos, was the videos where he was like the thought of, like, this approach to religion is the kind of approach that a lot of religious people take to other religions, and it doesn't always go well, and I don't want to... Am I inadvertently supporting that? And the answer was no, not quite, but we were starting another cult of its own, it turned out. So... Oh, that was... I didn't expect it to get that close, so I didn't put in as much effort as I could, and I could have won that. Wow. Could be nice. But there we go. It's one of those things. People saying don't get the death of the author thing. Death of the author is good. People often misinterpret it. Ironically, people often misinterpret Death of the Author, which is, I think, the height of humour, because that's also its point. But, like, Death of the Author is a fantastic essay written by basically, I'm gonna, like, to be somewhat reductive, written by a fellow socialist, outlining the problems with our current approach to authorship, and it was influential because it was true, and correct, and right, and will save the world. So, yeah. I'm actually working on a piece about Death of the Author. I kind of want to do a series going through all of the fucking arguments, going through a bunch of, like, aspects of film theory that I feel like not many people know about or think about, and interpreting films, culminating in me probably defending the Star Wars prequels. I want to, like, sort of produce, like, a little short show type thing about various concepts, and one of them is Death of the Author. I'm not sure if I want to call it... I asked for names for it, and people were like, Scanline, which is a good name. And the other one was, there was another really good name that I've forgotten. Frame Story, something like that, which is really good. That's a bit too close to every frame of painting, though, so I'm not sure if I'll go with that one. Someone else also went with the good one, Masturbating in the Corner, which obviously very accurate. But yeah, so that's a thing. That's on the cards. And yes, I can't believe how much, like, let's talk briefly about Mr. Carl Benjamin. Mr. I am on the left, but as soon as the Tories lost, he started tweeting advice to the Tories, like in this weird way, where he was like, "Yeah, you really messed up with the with that you know, with those bad policies thing. You probably shouldn't have done that. You know, we needed to beat Corbyn. Like, you should be applauding the loss of people who were against human rights, not saying, yeah, being against human rights was bad for the Tories. They shouldn't have done that. They needed to beat the collectivist who's against me falling off the fucking cliff and dying. Holy shit. I'm... honestly, like, the reforming the left argument isn't even, like, a terrible idea. Like, Corbyn is effectively reforming the left, in my opinion. I've considered reforming the right by, like, going, like, joining the Conservative Party, which tends to do quite well in my area, and pushing them further left. That's something I've considered doing for a long time. Play of the game was me almost killing May. I'm pretty proud of that. Spanky McButtfundle says, Sargon's videos are pretty rubbish, he just kind of rants on for a few minutes with a picture. A few minutes? Sorry. You're understating the level of boredom inflicted by his work, which, weirdly enough, he expects people to tolerate that while complaining that everyone else should keep their videos down to 5 minutes. But, whatever. That's fine. Aww. Carl wants to be the Corbyn of YouTube. Yeah, like, you know, he wants to reform the left into the right. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Spanky. That's very nice of you. Thank you, Spanky, said H-Bomb. Do we need an Irish leftist video essayist? Yeah, probably. We always need more essayists who are on the left. I have one joke for a perspective video about Colin Moriarty, where, you know, I make fun of, like, his ridiculous, like, actually incredibly super libertarian views that are, like, a little bit much even for most libertarians, and his, like, Twitter handle is, like, no taxation, and I don't know what the content of the video will be, but I already have the ending planned. It's just a slow zoom on his Twitter handle and the words, counterpoint, some taxation. That's all I've got. Wow. Congratulations, McCree, for running to your death. But...
prepare for battle. Select your hero.
Speaking of McCree, it's time to lose this game. Schopenhauer, I think that might be like a Schopenhauer pun, asks, H-Bomb, I think you probably get this a lot, but you did the sexiest Sherlock vid. Thank you. I don't get it that much because it just came out, but like 500,000 people have seen it, so I guess it was pretty good.
Thank you kindly.
I guess I'm pretty good at that media analysis thing. People like non-partisan work that they can point to and go, oh, I like this, whereas, like, shit. Please heal me, May. Oh, but Mercy. May, what? What am I saying? I was like, let's do this. Oh, okay, I got this. Yeah, boy. Okay, right, let's do this. Let's reform the left. Together. Oh shit, he tricked me! He bamboozled me!
That'll get it done.
Speaking of the word bamboozled, someone asked if I'd seen Fargo Season 3. I've seen most of it. I think I haven't seen the most recent episode. Oh my god, the flashbang killed him! I'm pretty proud of that. Hey, Garrett! Oh, man! Garrett's here. Garrett in the chat.
Play of the game.
Oh, man. Okay, hold on. Garrett, you have Discord, right? Or something, or Skype. You have a means that I can bring you into the stream real quick while I play Overwatch. I'm a far main, Corbyn. One question, what does a hang election mean? Oh, By the way, I woke up like to my mum like kind of semi-shouting while watching the TV, saying they should have been harder about this. They should have warned people about what a hung parliament would mean. And my eyes blazed open. I went, "What?" It's beautiful. Where's the bomber part of your name come from? It comes from Bomberman. Labour kind of won, like the moral victory, but they also did not get the most votes. There's actually a factual error in my video where I jokingly said it looks like the Conservatives will get the most votes, which unfortunately means they'll win. That is actually not true. It is possible to get the most votes and seats and still not actually win, because you need a specific majority to be able to outvote everyone else in the House of Commons. I think it's the House of Commons. And guess what? It's fucked. It's all fucked. Basically, if you wanted to, you could theoretically get a coalition of people, call it the Not the Tory Coalition, and everyone could gang up and erase the Tories from being able to have any say in Parliament, if they worked at it. It's possible that the DUP collectively gives them enough votes. However, that would require the DUP and the Tories, like in practice, to actually try to, like, they would all have to agree. And there's a couple of lefter Tories who you could like turn a little bit and be like, hey, vote no in this. And then if everyone else votes no, it's done. So like, just asking Garrett if he wants to hang on the stream while I play Overwatch, or even play it with me. I don't know if he has Overwatch, but yeah, UKIP got wrecked. Once again, UKIP failed to have any fucking seats, and their leader doesn't... Like, it's just the shittest party, honestly. Their election strategy is terrible. Striker Fear asks, why do you hate Lars von Trier? He murdered my father with a hunting knife. Thing you don't know about me, ultimately my vengeance will be had against Lars von Trier. More like Lars von trying my patience, am I right? No, but in all seriousness, I don't think his films are very good. Or I don't think his films are worthy of the attention that they're given, and I respond to that badly by being overtly negative against him in a way that's probably not useful. That's the truth. I'm really worried that when I swallow my spit from talking, people hear it really loudly into this mic, so watch out for that. What am I doing? I should be guarding my team. Usually when you have a pharmacy in 3v3, they abandon you to die, and then it becomes a 1v3 until you die, and then you hope that they were a good team. That's like genuinely how it almost always works. Like, they were right next to me just then, and she didn't even bother stopping healing Farah for a second to heal me. Meanwhile, their diva's being healed to shit by a healer who actually cares for them and loves them and is kind to them. Like my father would be if he could find the time to okay, so. Please, hey, thank you very much. Now we can get back to business. The business of Symmetra being fucking dead. Oh Jesus, this was a mistake. Get back. No, thank you. Goodbye. See, if I fucking told you. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's over. It's over. I was so close. Okay. I've actually fucked this up catastrophically. I've actually fucked this up. I could have killed them and I thought, I'll just stand still and shoot at them. And I fucked this up so badly. This is the worst thing I've ever done and I feel terrible. I'm so sorry. My teammates, I'm so sorry. Yeah, boy! Oh, it's fucking over! Yeah! We did it! And that was the Overwatch version of this fucking election. And I was Corbin! I called the mech in. Just like Corbin did. Okay. I'm gonna add Garrett on Discord while playing because I'm such a badass. Actually, I'm gonna quickly. No, I'm gonna do that. No, I'm not. Oh, good. We have healers. I probably should hang out with the healers then. But also, I'm a flanker, so. Shit. Come on. Get up there. Come on. Oh, what you gonna do? Bad boys. Shooting you with the guns. Shooting you with the guns that I have. I'm sorry. I'm on a high today, so I'm just gonna be talking absolute gibberish. You can sleep me, you fool. Nice try. Yeah. Okay. Garrett. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when I call you on Discord? I'm sorry. I apologize. Today's been quite a good day. You might have heard that some stuff happened. Add friend. Try not to say Garrett's name out loud. Success! Your friend requested Garrett is being escorted. Oh, I accidentally picked McCree, the guy I'm the worst at. Oh, good. We have a healer. We have the good healer, too. Nice. That's the ultimate McCree. Oh, the sad thing happened. It's pharmacy, and they let him fucking just run off to die. What a fucking shit character that is. Just the whole thing. Okay. Where are they? If I can snipe the Mercy, then we're safe. That's not the person I wanted to be sniping, but they were there. And they're going to go for me, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, let's get out of here. Try and lead him in somewhere where the turrets are, basically, I think is the order of the day. Or let my teammates kill him. Oh, yes! Oh, wait, was the Mercy already dead? Oh, jeez. Hey, Garrett. Let's call him in. I'm going to call him in a sec, but first, I'm going to go for a Waz. I'm going to turn the mic off so no one can even tell if I wash my hands or not, because I don't like being judged. I'm so petty. Okay. Let's give him a call. Wow, 800 people watched me go to the bathroom on mute. Hello? I probably have my settings wrong. Can you hear me? I can't hear you, by the way, if you're there. Garrett? Oh no. What have I done? Hello? Hello, Garrett? Is your microphone plugged in? Is your audio interface working? I have that problem all the time. Hello? Oh no. I just realised that maybe he's not in the call. I'm not quite sure how Discord works. It might not be like Skype where you have to pick up. It might be just like... Oh dear. What is happening here? I've lost like 100 people over this. I'll ask some questions. I'll answer some questions while this figures itself out. Someone asked, do you use your Blue Yeti for streams, or would you recommend another mic? I sold my Blue Yeti just a little bit under a year ago. I stream with the mic I record my voiceovers with. And I actually need to sell a microphone that I have as well. I've been through like 4 microphones. I'm really bad at this. Oh, I think he might be offline.
Prepare for battle.
Oh dear.
Select your
Yeah, oh, he's online again now. Okay. Oh, there we are. Hey! Hello? There you are, hey.
Oh, I finally figured out what the problem was. Can
Nice.
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Awesome.
For some reason, oh, it was my fault. My audio interface I'd switched off 48 volts, so my mic wasn't being powered.
Oh, jeez. Why would anyone turn off 48 volts? Or actually, is it bad for the machine if it's on all the time?
No, I just did it by accident when I was moving it.
Missed. Okay, I'm going to be talking to Overwatch while talking to you, and it's going to be really confusing, so sorry in advance.
Sounds good.
Yeah. How are you?
score.
I'm good. I was social tonight for the first time in ages. Normally, I just stay at home with my dog.
Select
Aw.
Sounds depressing, but it's not actually as bad as it sounds. But
If you have a
anyway,
dog,
yeah,
it's
I
not
went out to a friend's birthday thing tonight, and it was good.
Nice. Gosh.
Until I left my phone in town, but oh well. I'll get
Oh,
it back
yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah. This is why I don't ever have an expensive phone, because that way I can lose it or it breaks and it's fine.
Yes, good strategy.
Yeah. I lose things all the time. One time I lost an entire windscreen of my car.
What?
Well, I lost it because it got broken into, but, you know, it got smashed, but it's a kind of loss. I've never
I go
lost
through about
30 seats, though, or 13 seats, or however many, 12 seats in an election I called, but...
Yes, as Theresa May's not looking very competent right now.
No, yeah. I think it's shitty to call an election ahead of the time when it makes sense to. I think it's just rude. Like, it's clearly just trying to solidify your position, and that is, like...
Yeah, well, she wanted
yeah.
a mandate because she wasn't voted in.
Exactly, yeah. And I can kind of see why she would do that, but I kind of wish she would just waited out the time. It's just...
select your hero.
I do almost... Like, other people have said this before, but, like... everything points towards trying their best to look like they're trying to win and lose, but... I don't know.
I'm not as, like, thrilled about the result as some other leftists. Yeah, it's
Oh.
good and all, and I'm
Oh,
glad
yeah.
that Theresa May looks bad.
Yeah, but it's objectively not a win. It's the closest you could expect
Yeah,
to a
I
win
just-
from, like... we argued it back from the Labour will lose every seat all the way back to here, and that is a victory, but there's obviously a lot to, you know... I would have preferred for us to not be completely fucked and probably about to get destroyed by the DUP, you know, but...
Well, yeah, I let myself get too excited by the, polls towards the end.
Yeah. Oh.
And I was thinking, maybe if this trend continues after the last polls, maybe, Corbyn might even win it. And,
Yeah.
now that we've seen the actual result, that belief or that hope looked kind of stupid, but,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. I always, in my heart, I'm always like, oh, I'm not going to get my hopes up, but I'm always like, oh, I bet he could win. It's like, I don't know. I was positive about the referendum on alternative vote and on Brexit. Alternative vote was very close to my heart, so I'm probably going to be talking about that for my whole life, but I was so mad about that.
The thing that really corrupted my belief in the British system was the 2010 coalition.
That was the breaking point for a lot of people. But for me, the breaking point was the fact
The
that...
following year.
Yeah, the following year
Yeah.
when the thing that would have fixed that was voted down. Also, some of the just fantastically terrible propaganda that they put out about it. Just like, oh, he needs a bulletproof vest, not a superior voting system. I forget exactly what it was, but like it was just ridiculous, basically.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a better electoral system in New Zealand than you do in Britain.
They did the thing that the right always did until they started attacking the left for doing it, which was threaten people with fascism by saying, you know, if you give alternative vote to people, they might accidentally vote for the BNP.
Yeah.
That's an actual thing they said. They were like, but if people can list their preferences, that means that smaller parties will get more votes, like the bad people. And
Yeah, as if
like-
that's a bad thing.
yeah, so like their defense of the referendum was that people aren't trustworthy to vote, which I
Yeah,
thought was
and-
interesting, but
Honestly, it's an argument that liberals and conservatives alike will bring up if pushed.
I prefer the argument that you should trust people, but I'm one of those.
I mean, it's one of those things, you know, the Brexit result is a great example because that was bad, you know, for people like, well, I assume you were against it like I was.
Yeah. This is Garrett, by
And,
the way.
you know,
People asking in the chat who you are.
oh, right. Yeah, and that result was bad, but it was democratic, you know?
Yeah. It was. It could have been
The
more
only
democratic,
problem was,
but
the problem was is that the voting base wasn't very well informed on the issue.
yeah. The voting base also don't know what a hung parliament is. A lot of people are legitimately like, wait, hold on. What even is this?
I just used sort of abductive reasoning. I was like, well, I know what a hung jury is, so I'm guessing that hung parliament is basically the same thing. And
Kind of, yeah. Oh, you're correcting me on deductive to abductive. I love you.
Oh, you saw that comment. didn't
Yeah, it's abductive. That's the perfect Garrett comment. Like,
Yeah, deductive reasoning is when you have certainty, and Sherlock never has certainty. It's just a sort of best guess.
yeah. I like the way you correct people, where it's a small thing, but it's also a small thing that directly reveals how dumb the surrounding argument is. Like, I called my entire video into question when you pointed out that I got that wrong. Like, that's
Oh,
great.
no, your central thesis in the video was still on point.
I keep killing people with
I
the
liked that video.
flashbang.
My only disagreement with it is that I thought you were too lenient on some other Sherlock adaptations.
Yeah,
Because I don't think there is any really great Sherlock adaptations except for the old ones from the black and white era.
yeah.
All the recent ones have different issues.
I definitely the only ones I'm super a fan of are the Brett and Rathbone adaptations. I think they're good. I like Elementary, but I wouldn't say like, oh, it's a perfect adaptation. It's the new Sherlock, but it's way better than Sherlock.
Because what I would say is that neither Sherlock or Elementary are like proper Sherlock, but Elementary is a better show.
Yeah, they both star a man called Sherlock Holmes and his boyfriend / associate Watson. By the way, how cool is it that Elementary has a female Watson and there isn't like no romantic tension between them whatsoever? They don't even bother with that. Like that's I wanted that. I like
My
I like
only
when
issue with that is that it kind of shows that, I mean, to a degree, Watson is a slightly redundant character in a way. And
Yeah.
it kind of gives that away a little bit. Because, I mean, like you say in the video, Watson is the audience surrogate character. You know, he's the who the audience sees through. But Sherlock Holmes is such a well-known commodity now that you don't need that.
Yeah. I think an element of what makes, again, I'm just like, I like stories that portray relationships between men and women as not always immediately romantic. That's something I'm into just because I think that's nice. But I also like
I like it too.
I think they do quite well with Elementary compared to Sherlock as well is they have Watson be a character instead of being a somewhat bland surrogate who kind of low key is making a point about class. They have them have their own lives. So there's aspects of Sherlock of Elementary that do the Sherlock style. There's a drama here between the main characters more than there was in the original stories. But I think they do it a lot better by having Watson become an investigator in her own right over time.
Yeah, the Watson character is more interesting than the source character. But that's kind of like, when your adaptation shows up a weakness in the source material, I almost think that's like a bad thing.
Yeah, to a certain extent, maybe you should adapt the flaw in an interesting way.
I mean, yeah, like, I don't know, I have this beef about adaptations not being faithful enough.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent, with some stories you have to be faithful to it, even if there were like clear holes that are bad and should have been fixed, just because like it allows it to retain the element of being a capsule of that thing. Almost. I don't know.
And you know, there are some properties I think that just can't really be adapted to the film format, and therefore shouldn't be.
Oh sure, yeah.
Like Dune is, I reckon, the best example, because Dune is so cerebral and so complicated that the lore amount you need to put across to the audience in order for them to appreciate what's happening. Because a lot of stuff has a lot of lore, but you can kind of cut a lot of it out.
Yeah.
It's a bit meaningless. Whereas Dune, in order for the whole thing to really work, you need to appreciate a lot of the sort of subtleties of it. That's really difficult in a movie.
Yeah, another thing is, like, you can read the Sherlock Holmes stories at your own pace. Like, they're often quite short, but you could read them slowly if you wanted to. I feel like there is an inherent flaw in mystery stories, in a form where you don't control the speed that you get to discover the things.
You know, it's funny. You just reminded me of this this argument I made this before I made my channel, when I was just when I was making arguments in casual conversation as opposed to in videos. Yeah, back in the old days.
Starting some good old fights.
I was talking about how in comic books, you're kind of the reader is the director.
Yeah.
Because they choose how long to spend on each moment and whether or not to revisit a moment from the past, which is kind of like a flashback or whatever.
Yeah.
And like how much to focus on different things.
Yeah, that's almost a death of the author argument. It's almost, but not quite. But yeah.
Well, I think a good comic book writer knows that.
Yeah.
You know, they don't control how much emphasis a reader puts on any particular bit. In a book, that's true as well, but books, you know, they're sort of the same. They're just words, you know, whereas on a comic book, you know, you've got the art panels, so you can kind of influence readers a bit more by catching their eye and stuff.
I think to a certain extent, a lot of good shows and films and even like anime do that, where they exist in a space where they work well, given what they know given what they know you've been told by the narrative, but they also will work in the space they'll exist in when you're watching it again, by not having too much pointless exposition that is worthless when you come back to it. That sort of thing.
Yeah. One of the ultimate things in writing, I think, is when you can write something that feels different and means something different depending on if you've seen or read the thing before.
Yes. Something that I'm not the biggest fan of. Rowan Kure just sent me £2 saying, "I only sent you this money to virtue signal. Thank you." Something that I'm not the biggest fan of Code Geass or Death Note, but something that they both do quite well is the character at some point has to learn the extent of the power that they have, and that is the interesting part of the story, because it can be done very, very poorly, where they're told the rules. In fact, Light's literally given a rule book with the book. That's what it is. And that could be done incredibly poorly and be boring to watch back. But actually, it's the most compelling part of the story, because watching how a person chooses to go about learning the extent of their powers can be thrilling, because you're learning about the character and how they learn things, and you're learning this new piece of information about how the thing works. Like, that could be the best part of the story. And that relies on things that use of techniques that you don't have to use in a book, where you can skip that bit or read it faster or slower, that sort of thing. So
one of the problems I think with superhero movies is that the powers of the characters don't have much interplay with the story.
Yeah.
It's like a ludonarrative dissonance thing almost. It kind of does feel like a video game, where it's like when they're using the powers is just like the bit between the cutscenes, you know?
Yeah,
between the plot.
Yeah, it compares the power level.
And like, you know, one of the things I'd like to see is an origin story where the person's trying out their powers and they accidentally do something terrible while in that phase and kill someone or something.
Oh, yeah, and they have to, and then they spend the rest of the film covering it up.
Yeah, or being affected by it in some way. Yeah, like it drives the narrative. Yeah.
There's a show I feel is underrated, or at least not talked about often enough, called The Shield. And I think towards the end of season 2, they steal millions in dollars of money. And the rest of the show, like another 4 seasons, is them trying to cover up the crimes they did to get the money.
Right. Yeah.
And none of them ever gets to spend the money.
I never watched Shield, but I know that it played a role in the development of what I call serialized television, or serial television format, as opposed to episodic.
The guy who wrote it went on to do Sons of Anarchy, which is very much that, I believe. Iron Man just gave me $2 and said, Netflix Death Note will be the worst. I don't know. I'm always optimistic about things, so that way I can be even more disappointed and angry when they come out and are bad.
Yeah, Netflix's adaptations of things haven't been great, I have to say. What I've seen of it, anyway.
What do you think of House of Cards?
Well, that's a remake more than an adaptation.
Ah. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's a remake of an adaptation. Then again, the adaptation became...
is the original House of Cards adapted from something?
It's based on... It's adapted from a book, yeah. Weird thing.
I didn't realize that, right.
The original book...
In that case...
Okay, spoilers for people who know House of Cards, or who don't know. The original book ends with the character confessing to his crimes and killing himself. And then the show has the ending where instead he kills the person he confesses to, and continues to, on the path to be Prime Minister. So then at some point the author of the book was like, oh, that's great, and rewrote the book to have that ending. So then there were 2 more books. Fantastic. So there's 3 seasons of the show, and I think the books and show diverge quite a bit because they were written differently in a weird order. And then the adaptation kind of maintains things.
I talked about this.
Oh.
Oh, what happened? Something happened.
Oh, no. I just thought... No.
Oh, I was watching the stream and it just went offline for a second.
Oh, yeah, the stream is resuming, apparently. Yeah, I must have had a blip.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like... Yeah, basically... The modern House of Cards thing is like so different that it kind of, you're right, it isn't really an adaptation or a remake. It's kind of its own thing with a similar name, which is a weird practice that I don't approve of. Even though it's a pretty good show.
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah. Yeah, I haven't talked about this much publicly, but I have, apart from on Twitter where I have talked about it a bit, I'm starting a second channel. Yeah, it's about like moves, the sort of stuff you do, but a bigger scope, I guess, because I'm gonna cover things like art and poetry as well.
Oh, sweet. I will have to check that out then, because I'm not a big poetry guy.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of things I already want to do. In fact, I'm working on a video for my Garrett channel at the moment, which has a sort of nod to that, because I'm referring to this Byron poem in it.
Oh, that sounds pretty nice. I have an alarm set. When it goes off, I need to start doing some stuff, but that's like 20 minutes, so...
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't gotten enough work done recently because of all the bloody streams that keep happening.
Yeah, I woke up at 5 in the morning and... like yesterday, rather, and edited video for 12 hours so I could get the thing out before the election was called.
Right.
And then like, stayed up super late, keeping up on the polls, and then went to sleep. And while I was very tired, I said something quite flippant to or about Max Landis, and he's mad at me.
I was in the stream. I was in the chat at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Max Landis, is he the director who's been on Red Letter Media a few times?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. I think I might have said some words along the lines of he completely sucks, and I didn't really mean that to the extent that I think it came across as, and now I'm like super worried I upset a man and made him go to sleep thinking I hate him. Why don't I put my barrier down? I'm bad at this game.
He seems okay.
Yeah.
You know, not like great.
He's said some stuff, but seems to genuinely feel it's not representative of who he is now, and I'm inclined to want to talk to him about it. So.
Right. So it's not about his work; it's about something he said.
Yeah, I don't think he would hold it against me if I thought his stuff was bad, because I think he knows some of his stuff isn't that great. But
I think for what it is trying to be, it's not that bad.
Yeah, there's a Jezebel article calling out some stuff that he said in an interview. And this was like 2013, and he still is living in the shadow of that article, and is still clearly very upset about it. I've only read some of it, like to a certain extent. I was like, I can see how this article, like, I know people who write for Jezebel. I'm friends with some of them, and some of them have actually gone on when they left to write about how, like, to a certain extent, you have to not be offended for money, but you have to write provocatively for your job to work. And sometimes people get thrown under the bus somewhat unnecessarily. And hearing that from a person who writes for Jezebel made me think, well, hey, maybe this article has caused some kind of undue views about him that he still feels are affecting how people see him. So I think my offhand comments about him have made him think, oh, he's read the article and hates me. And I don't know, I want to correct that just because it seems like the right thing to do. Even if I never get to, you know, appear in Dirk Gently, which is obviously my end goal here.
The Dirk Gently show that was, what's his name? What's the actor's name who played him?
Which one?
There was a Dirk Gently adaptation a while back, right? A couple of years ago.
Steve Mangan?
Yeah, Steve Mangan. I thought that was quite a good adaptation.
Carl Mulholland sends €5 and says, grab yourself something nice, BBZ. What was it like walking away from your real person career to become a beta leftist? Oh yeah, so he's adapting the new Dirk Gently that's happening on, not Netflix, some other channel, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, but I left my career for health reasons. I was getting asthma because a lot of my work was in hospitals and surrounded it in dust because those computers haven't been updated in years, as we found out recently when they all got fucking hacked. I got sick of it, and the government only ever gives the contracts to the people who are willing to pay their people the least, so I got the least money I could possibly do it, even in that job. So while I quit and decided to look for other engineering jobs, I decided that what I should do is make more YouTube videos, so I did. And it's been really great, but I do kind of wish I was also still engineering at the same time, because that would probably mean that, let's say this all fell apart, I still had a career. But there we go.
I don't know if this is happening in the stream as well, or just for me, but your voice just went super weird.
Yeah, yours did too. I'm going to plug my audio interface back in. I use a Focusrite, and I think my drivers are broken.
And that appears to be better.
Nice. There we go. Okay. Hopefully everyone heard my comment.
Bomber bot.
No. Inevitable robot incarnation. That reminds me, there's a game called Skullgirls, which is like the one fighting game I was ever like, I'm gonna get good at this fighting game, and then I played it for 20 hours and discovered that I actually hate fighting games. But for a Kickstarter to like add more characters to the game or something, one of the characters was a robot version of the character I thought was quite fun to play, and the robot version actually plays completely differently. It's just like a different look. It doesn't even it's not just like a skin. It actually plays completely differently, so it's a shame. So anyway, yeah, that's my greatest shame. I got into a fighting game.
Do you know the YouTube channel Cool Ghosts?
Yes.
Yeah. Matt Lees is the main guy, and I can't remember the name of the other guy who's the guy from Shut Up and Sit Down.
Quentin Smith.
Who he does the channel with?
Quentin
Quentin,
Smith,
yeah, Quentin's. Yeah, he did a thing on there recently where I don't know if he's never played a fighting game before or just never bothered to really invest in one, but he was like, you know what? I'm gonna randomly get really as good as I can at Street Fighter. So he got the most recent Street Fighter and just played it like every day for like a month.
Yeah.
And he just like had a diary thing. It was quite interesting, watching his progress.
I haven't kept up on that, but I heard about him trying that, and I was interested to see if he stuck with it for years and became a genius expert. But no, yeah, Quinn's is real cool. I almost got to hang out with him once, but then he was in France. It turned out, so whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Shut Up and Sit Down.
Yeah.
I don't really play board games myself, but I'm interested in the mechanics.
Yeah. I'm really into Shut Up and Sit Down, like the early show they did before they became a big deal. Like, there's something really just fun about it. The modern stuff is obviously good too, but it's a different format.
I tell you what I really like of theirs is their podcast.
Yeah.
They do some really fun stuff on their podcast. One time they did, there was like a total conversion for a board game. I can't remember what board game it was. It was like Dwarf Quest or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, it turned the whole thing into a Sean Bean quest. Where every character is a different Sean Bean character.
Wow.
So you all play as Sean Bean.
Roxy Justice says, H-Roma guy, tell Max Landis to make Dirk Gently and Todd be gay. Sure, I'll tell him that. I bet he knows people want the characters to be gay, but I'll tell him. That'll be the one thing I'll ever say to him. How's that? If he ever does get in touch so we can patch this up, I'll message him with, Todd and Dirk should be gay, and then I'll block him. Have you seen the thing where a guy like gets Webster's dictionary to add him because he has a word suggestion? And they do, and he DMs them the words, it should be teeth paste and you know it, and they block him.
He's right!
Yes!
That's like when you figure out that they drop the D from fridge in refrigerator.
Holy shit! I'm so mad.
The English language is such a mongrel.
Yeah, we just stole words from everyone, and now we have to justify it with new linguistic rules, and it's great. And people
yeah,
like,
funny. You can see,
oh,
like, the
how
growth
dare
of
you
the
add?
English Empire.
Yeah, people are like, oh
British
man,
Empire, I should say.
yeah, oh how dare you? This latest set of memes has ruined our language. No, our language has never made sense. Like,
yeah. I love, people being racist, while wearing pajamas. It's like, where the word pajamas comes from, right? It's not English.
oh dear. I tried to turn into an ice cube and then was killed.
Another Indian word I know of is veranda, but I think it's like some countries say dick, and other countries say veranda.
I've never heard them say dick. Wow.
Shut up.
I've never heard.
D-E-C-K.
Oh, deck. I'm sorry. That actually, I didn't. I actually thought you just said dick. I'm sorry. Oh no.
Don't worry.
I feel like I've been unintentionally racist towards you.
It's not racism, by the way.
Towards your accent. Oh, Statistical Insanity just wrote in all caps Lieutenant in the chat, and now I'm mad.
Yeah, that's a big one too. And Colonel, of course.
Oh yeah, Colonel.
Yeah.
Hooah! Oh, great. The thing happened. I'm dead now. Shit. Doctor, please.
Paste. That's awesome.
It should be teeth paste, and you know it.
Yeah, they've got to shut that guy up. Silence him.
Confess to your crimes, Webster.
Word crimes.
Those are real. They have those.
I love when people use the justification of how Shakespeare made up a bunch of words to justify making up words.
Yeah.
Like, you ain't Shakespeare, and this ain't 500 years ago.
Yeah, this isn't before we had dictionaries. We have them now. Language has been codified. Now it's harder.
Yeah, there's also a lot more people speaking it.
Yeah. I remember back when I was, I had my first interaction with discussions of pronouns on TV tropes when I was like 13, 14. I was like, you need these words to tell what gender the person is. Otherwise, how would you know? And they were like, why don't you just say the one that people ask? It doesn't really matter. And I was like, oh yeah, okay. And 10 years later, people are still like, no, this is the biggest deal. We have to fight for these words in a made-up language that's used purely to communicate information,
Yeah.
and that information isn't even necessary. It's just like, hold on. It's also really distracting. Like, there are things that need solving, and none of those things are like, should we use the words people asked us to use? The answer to that is yes. No, let's talk about the other things that are bad. For example, poverty.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
off
And
the top of
best
my
part
head.
about that is the people who go on about it also complain about other people focusing on first world problems.
Yeah.
Like the classic Chris Reagan tweet where he talked about how and he mocked the bravery of being an anti-racist. It's like, dude, you're an anti-social justice warrior. How fucking brave is that?
Yeah, like you think the feminists are trying to censor you on Twitter, and you're
Yeah.
complaining that that there are people out there who are worrying too much about meaningless bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
has he retweeted anything to do with the videos being censored by Contra? That Contra's lost? Like,
I don't know.
no, I know Shu did. Shu is like weirdly kind of okay at being being against outright bullshit. and censorship in a way that I am glad. I don't know. I'm about to make a video where she features, so I don't want to be too rude to her.
Select your hero.
I honestly, I have trouble just with the whole lot of them nowadays.
Yeah, they
It's
still
not
in the end
bothered me
ultimately get into
anymore.
bed together, and it's kind of fucking annoying. So I can, but at the
Well,
same
it's
time,
what happened with Ivy's death.
yeah.
I knew there was going to be a bunch of them who mocked it and stuff, but I wasn't prepared for the scope of it.
I wasn't prepared for there even to be as many people as there did coming out saying, "Hey, can you not do that?" Like there were a couple of
That's
them who
true
did.
as well.
Shu included, and I'm kind of amazed by that. I expected them to say nothing or just say, "Oh, I'm sad about the death," but them coming out and saying, "No, don't be absolutely horrific about this dead person," is kind of encouraging. It makes me.
Then there was amazing atheist setting up that charity contrary to the wishes of the victim's family, and then refusing to take his thing down.
Yeah, there's that. It's messed up.
And, I don't know. It broke something in me, and now I just can't be bothered with them anymore.
To a certain extent, it's worth talking about the concept of spite charity. It's not like I don't think it's ultimately. I'm not sure if it's ultimately a bad thing because it is helping people. However, there is this, and perhaps it's kind of a good thing in the sense that it is like tricking people into giving money to a cause, but at the same time, people are giving money in order to feel like they're better than some other person, which seems really weird. And also, that kind of holier than thou-ness is something I want to avoid. Being an aspect of society that helps people. Like, the problem with charity is it means, like, on days when these people aren't feeling charitable, people suffer more than they could have done. You want to live in a system that doesn't rely on that.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah, no, and I mean, because TJ's done that before, right?
Yeah, he did that with Sarkeesian. Yeah, he's done it before several times to like prove we're better than them. And like to a certain extent, I keep thinking each time, what if this is performance art? What if he's like, look how good you can be when you're told you're spiting the bad people. Be this all the time, fuckers. But he never does. Instead, he's like, no, we proved that we're the best. Now to go back to doing nothing all day and complaining about how the SGs might win. And it's enthralling how unself-aware people can be.
He did this thing where he challenged Steve Shives to a debate.
Yeah.
And he said if Steve agreed to the debate, he'd give, I think it was like $2,000 or $3,000 to a charity or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he painted Steve as the bad guy for turning him down, so the money didn't get given. But if he had the money and could have given it and decided not to,
he could have given it.
TJ's the bad guy.
He could have given it and asked Steve to debate anyway.
He could have given it and then just not told anybody about it because it's the right thing to do. You know?
Steve Shives is, for like, this isn't an insult, the Davis Arini of the YouTube left. Like making fun of him has become its own sport in such a way where it's kind of unbecoming of the person. Or unbecoming of the amount of reach that they actually have. Like, barely anyone knows who Davis Arini is or cares, in actual, like, real-life estimation. Barely anyone really cares about or knows about Steve Shives. To be fair, like, he doesn't have any subscribers. People actually watch his videos. But dunking on him is, like, a tradition now. For the atheist people. And, like, those videos get hundreds of thousands of views, whereas his are, like, 5,000 people will ever see them. Same thing with Arini. Like, he's got a little more reach than he used to a few years back. A little bit more, but people are still asking me to make fun of him, and when I do that, like 50,000 people see the video in a day, and it's like I'm not happy about that, so I kind of purposefully don't target him because it feels wrong, you know?
Yeah. I also I haven't done a video about Warcorp 666 because I have more subscribers than he does, and that feels wrong. There's that
element too. I don't feel so bad about simply having more subscribers isn't something that I would normally regard as a barrier to entry, but he's this tiny guy who exemplifies the problems by being them so overtly and being so dumb about it in every way. But it would feel wrong to just talk about it because it's just like, this guy's clearly not all that bright, and being
I
rude to
don't
him is
necessarily
bad.
mean it's
you know?
morally wrong for me to do a response to someone with less subs. What I mean is that it's just bad strategy. What's the value in that?
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's not in terms
how
of
am I
bad
demonstrating that the thought leaders of the community are bad?
Oh, yeah.
When I pick on someone with 3,000 subscribers or whatever he has, you know.
I wasn't even thinking in terms of strategy. I mean more as in, like, or even morally. There's something like weird that I could make something of a career making fun of a person who himself has no reach. Like, there's something weird about that to me that I want to avoid happening. I can't. I'm not. I think that that's like a weird grey area between morality or video strategy or whatever. Like, it's weird. And Steve Shives is that person, but for the other group of people, I feel.
Yeah, he's the first one. There's a bunch of more of them now, like David Garrett and Wooly Bumblebee.
And Milo Stewart as well, I feel, as well. Although more people actually watch Milo's videos.
Because the thing about Steve Shives is that he was one of them before they split up.
Oh,
The YouTube atheist community used to be sort of one thing.
Oh,
he
yeah,
was
yeah.
Buddy with all of them.
Oh, there is that, I guess, but...
Feminism, he took the other side.
Yeah. Oh, Top just gave me $5 and says, "You've been capitalismed."
My ultimate is
Yeah. Coins and things didn't exist before 15th century Netherlands.
The ultimate critique of capitalism is that I've done fairly well in it, and I don't contribute anything of value if capitalism is good.
How do you discern value? Like what's useful in a post-apocalyptic world?
Oh no. Well, I have a lot of good skins in Overwatch, so I'm like 90% certain that I win.
Yeah, I can talk about like 21st century Western gender politics, and I can talk about movies and games and stuff, so I'll be fine in an apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like I don't even. Somebody asked the other day, "What would you be in a post-apocalyptic world?" It was on Twitter. I think was it Lindsay Ellis? And I was just like, well, I'll be dead. No, it wasn't Lindsay Ellis, actually, it was somebody else. But yeah, I was like, no, I'm pretty sure, like, in a zombie apocalypse or whatever, I'm going down in the initial thing, you know, like, in the outbreak.
I fully intend to be patient zero. I'm gonna be the guy who comes in a cave and comes out with weird green marks all over him.
Who got interfered with by some kind of obscure monkey species.
Interfered with by God. Finger comes down, touches my head, and I'm a zombie. God's plague. I'm gonna open some loot boxes on the stream. Oh man. Hooray, I got an emote for Zenyatta. He's one of the good boys who I'm good at.
I don't really play multiplayer games, so I've never played Overwatch.
It's all multiplayer, so it probably wouldn't be your jam, yeah.
Yeah.
Someone called me a job creator, and that's kind of true. I now am like paying people to work on videos with me, so that's cool.
Yeah, I've got I'm sort of in the early phases of doing some commissions for my new channel.
Yeah, cool. That sounds awesome. That's good.
Yeah, it should be good.
Yeah.
It was funny that when I saw your video on Sherlock and you were covering Dalek, because you know I'm covering that in my first video.
Yeah, I only briefly touched on it for comparison to another episode that's like a worse version of Dalek. So
you brought it up for totally different reasons than I am, so it's not a big deal.
I hate the idea that I've stumbled on your toes because I like the idea of you making more stuff. So.
Well, it's funny because you actually didn't use, or you used different clips than I did for the most part.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, and you know, I'm using a lot of it's a lot of the episode is in my video, like.
Wow.
So it's kind of it's almost unlikely.
Good luck on not getting censored. Here's a trick: if you can test every single.
I'm not going to monetize on YouTube. I'm gonna just do paid. Like I'm gonna do the Jim Sterling model, basically.
Oh, right. I hope I did.
Yeah, you don't monetize ads on YouTube. You use Patreon only, and you use copyrighted material from at least 3 or 4 sources in every video.
Yeah, so I do wonder. That means the video can't be taken down, right? Or does that just mean it can't be monetized?
I don't know if it means it can't be taken down, but it means that nobody else can put ads on it.
Yeah. Oh, my alarm's going, so I should get ready to go. But like, yeah, my I monetized it initially because I was like, hey, I'm making this and a lot of people might see it, whatever, and it's fair use. And I'm wondering if that's initially why it was claimed and then taken down for it, because I didn't monetize a video I did about action movies and it got similar claims, but instead they simply kept it up and monetized it.
Yeah, like I have a video because nothing on the Garrett channel is monetized, and I used clips from the Daily Show and the Nightly Show in one of my videos, and it came back. The video got taken down with a copyright claim, but then all I had to do was a counterclaim, and they put the video back up.
Yeah, what I did with the BBC thing was interesting, where they were the kind of claims where the video gets taken down because it's basically like they thought it was piracy because there was so much footage in there.
Yeah,
I contested if you contest every single claim, I had to like every single one for it to work. It means that theoretically the video is fine and all these claims are false. So YouTube puts it up in the meantime. But then I think because the video got so many views, or because like after review they were less harsh on it or something, the video is still up, even though after review, and by review they mean asking the BBC, they've said their claim is still valid. So I don't know what the hell is going on. But for now the video's up and the BBC are monetizing it. I'm gonna just hope it never gets touched again, and that's my current position on it.
With my one, I believe it was Viacom was the company, and basically it was automatic. It was Content ID. Like the second it went live, it was already down. And I obviously like manually did a counterclaim, and then they put the video back up, and Viacom just never responded.
Yeah,
They
wow.
just let it lapse.
After like
And I think
30
that's-
days, it
I think
automatically
that's
goes.
the norm. Yeah, I think people
Yeah.
like it's just all done automatically, and then when you do your counterclaim, then an actual human being from the group or whatever it is actually looks at it, and then they're like, okay, this is fair use, whatever.
Yeah.
And then they just sort of have a month to respond, and they just don't. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway,
probably let
I
you
should
get
probably
back to
get
work.
ready. I have 66 notifications on Twitter and one message. I wonder if it's from Max. No, it's not. It's from someone asking who I main in Smash Bros. Melee. So that's interesting. I think they messaged me because they know that occasionally the notifications pop up on the stream. I don't know who I main in Melee. I haven't played in ages. I remember once I went to a con and someone was like talking about all the different fighting game rules they were having in Melee, and I was like, is Akuma banned? And he immediately about-faced to talking about Street Fighter without even blinking. And I was like, oh, jokes. Not going to work here, fighting game tournament. So yeah, that's my... Anyway, thanks. Do you want to plug your Twitter while you're here, Garrett?
Oh, you want me to give you a link or something?
Yeah, tell people where they can find you. My good man.
All right. Well, I'm kind of difficult to find on YouTube because everything's disabled. Like I don't tag my videos with anything. Everything that if you click on it, it gives you more viewers. It's all not clicked on. So
I don't even know how I found your
my channel's called
videos.
Garrett, but it's quite difficult to find.
Yeah. I'm so glad I found your work though. Like it did form the centerpiece for a video. So.
Well, dude, I'm so happy you made that video because I got a bunch of subs out of it, so it was awesome.
Yeah. And people like ignored it initially, thinking they could get away with it. So we're just ignoring it. So I did that. My current plan is to do more versus facts videos where it's not just a debunking of the concept, but the actual thing is looking at how they react to being debunked. And let me tell you, there is a lot of content to go into the Crown T1.
I was gonna do a video where if one of the anti-S-Jews stumbles into my comment section and makes a fool of themselves with something they wrote, then I do a video about that and about the responses to it, and, from where my other subscribers point out why it's stupid.
That's really clever,
it was too mean. That's why I didn't do it.
Wow.
It was too brutal. Like, I made them look, they look so bad. I was like, I can't put this out. It's like a character assassination. Even though it's true and fair, it's still too much. For example, there's this dude, do you know Skipdoor?
No, I don't.
Skipdoor's he's sort of an MRA anti-feminist, and he came into my comment section and disputed. He said he made an illogical argument. I pointed out that you can't apply his argument universally, so it's illogical. And then he said that I was talking nonsense. And then somebody came in and just wrote like actual mathematical logic out and like systematically proved exactly why he was wrong. And the guy responded to that by just saying it was gibberish. He'd never seen logic before.
Wow. I'm trying to find
You shouldn't claim the word skeptic because it's not for you.
There's
But
a
yeah,
YouTube-
it was too mean. Like I made him look. He just looked so bad. I was like, I can't make this video.
That's yeah. I kind of wish you had made that, but I can see why you wouldn't. And the reason you not doing that is the reason why I personally still think you're better than me. But that's me. That's my cross to bear.
Well, for one thing, when you kind of pick on someone, you get a lot of people going, "Oh, you're complaining about it," and using that against you to undermine your argument.
Yeah.
So it's in a way, it's a tighter argument to not do that. Like I didn't do that in my Sargon video just because I knew people would be like, "Hey, you're not coming in good faith, or you're the character, assassinating his character and all that." Of course, I didn't realize that Sargon wouldn't actually watch it at all, and so I read that wrong because at the time he was watching everything that was made about him.
Yeah. Do you know much about Dr. Lehman?
Never. Oh, I think I may have heard the name, maybe, but no. I don't know.
He's done some kind of weird skeptic challenge where he invites people to make videos against their own beliefs. For some reason, I don't really quite understand it, but I'm really interested in the concept of it. I think he's very much from across the political divide. He was in the stream with JonTron and Sargon. In fact, he was the guy. Right. He was the guy who inadvertently caused JonTron to go, "You're right, they're fucking communists."
That's where I would have seen that name in your video. Then, yeah.
Yeah. So he reached out to invite me to take part in this challenge, and he actually seems kind of all right. It seems like he was having a bad time during that stream, but I'm curious to see how he develops. Anyway. I should probably continue to follow his work and see if he turns out to be bad. But he has occasionally made some interesting points, and his reliance upon data reminds me of you, but like a slightly worse you, who's not as cool. But whatever.
It's like when everyone from the anti-Dem side brings up that guy Teal Deer.
Oh yeah.
They say that he's the me of the other side. Like, no.
No. That would require there to be facts.
Yeah. That would require him to actually read the sources that he's citing.
Yeah. Let's do some raw data analysis. I love how much of a meme that's become because it's so true.
Yeah.
This obsession with pure analysis, but there isn't any. It's great.
Sean's videos kind of put the rest of us to shame in a way.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I think, I don't know if I've mentioned this too often. Sean, basically, the video I just did about the election, he helped write a bunch of it.
Oh, nice.
I offered to pay him, and he said, "No, I just did some grammar. It's fine." But I feel like I need to send him some money without him asking because I feel like I owe him. But he helped with that.
You mean he did grammar editing on your script?
Yes.
You should send him money.
Yeah, he looked through my script and was like, "You should change this and this and this." And even then, I still missed some stuff that I added in later. So basically fixed me.
Yeah, I'd spend money on that.
I would do that. Yeah, I mean, I paid Sarah, who worked on the Sherlock video. Most of Sarah's advice was, "Here's this stuff. You should cut this. This is bad, and it's already too long." On her advice, I took out the 10-minute segment about Jekyll, but then, despite it being deliberately worse for the overall form of the video, I put it back in because I thought it was funny, and also people wanted me to.
You tend to repeat points quite a lot in your in that series, but I get that you're doing it to ram them home.
Yeah. I'm curious if the video would be, if I removed all those repeats, if it would be more or less convincing. I don't know. I think the video is weakened, but the argument is strengthened almost.
So it might be a good thing.
Yeah. Sometimes there's a difference between the argument a video makes and the video itself's quality, which is a weird thing.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, my channel is a great example of that. I don't put much effort into the technical filmmaking side of it, It's mainly because I used to work as a professional editor for 2 years, and I don't know, once you get paid to do something, it's kind of like you don't want to do it for free anymore and do it at the same quality level. So I put in the bare minimum quality level, work level on my videos and just try to focus my work more on the research side of it and writing the script, making a good argument.
Yeah.
My videos are I understand that they're not entertaining. They're not fun to watch.
Yeah. The most beautiful contribution you've made to the discourse is somewhat accidental, where by people ignoring your work or finding it too boring, they inadvertently admit that it's too much effort to actually think about things for them. And that's the most beautiful thing we could get.
My responses to that is like, you're going to have a lot of trouble with like books. A 37-minute video is too much, you know, like.
I have to read this book for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Sean dug up the stream where Sargon reads the Wikipedia page for 1984 and occasionally pauses to say, yeah, that sounds like the Social Justice Warriors. So at some point, I hope he's read 1984, but like prior to 2014, he definitely hadn't read it.
Yeah.
So I do wonder what the status is on his having read things, but we'll see. Who was it who like legitimately referred to it as like 1984 Animal Farm?
I don't know.
I forget.
But the one that always gets me is Computing Forever, his references to Orwell.
Oh yeah.
Because nobody attacks socialism more, arguably, than he did, just in terms of like the amount of times he does it on his channel. Every fucking video he's putting up is attacking socialism and bringing up Marxism when it's not even close to relevant to what he's talking about. And he does it all the time. It apparently doesn't realize that George Orwell was a socialist.
It's a socialist, yeah. Like there were some arguments that he wasn't a very good socialist. Like he did like rat some people out, but like
he also like he started out as what they call a Tory anarchist, which is a stupid ideology, you know.
Yes. But also, like, you encounter in any kind of attempt to elaborate on a difficult political position, you find grey areas where, for example, Animal Farm is absolutely about the failure of Stalinism, but it's not necessarily about the failure of communism. Like, there are specific differences in that idea. And that's the interesting thing is, the people who point to it and say, aha, idea's dead, when Orwell wouldn't say that is really interesting. There's probably an entire video I could make that I'm spoiling here, or wasting. About that.
Orwell came into contact with Stalinism and developed his hatred for Stalinism because of his experiences in the Spanish Civil War fighting in a communist unit. Because they were a non-Stalinist unit that he was in, and he noticed that the Stalinists are pushing around all the other state socialists and being authoritarian assholes. And that's so he developed his hatred of them because they were attacking other communists. Yeah, but no, it was definitely not an attack on communism in general.
Yeah, Animal Farm isn't a story about how they try communism because it sounds good and it doesn't work. It's a story about how some elitist pigs convince people they'll beat the elites and mislead people who have genuinely good ideas and goals. Jeez, I just realized that Animal Farm's a really interesting. Like, people pretend Animal Farm is this really simplistic metaphor, but I think the point is actually pretty clever. Jesus, I need to reread Animal Farm. It's been years.
It's a good read too.
I got a girl for Secret Santa. I got them a copy of George Orwell's Complete Works and forgot to bring it to the party, and she was mad about it forever and wouldn't accept it afterwards because I'd failed. And she was joking about it, like she wasn't actually mad, but now I still have the copy of the Complete Works of Orwell because she won't accept it. I'm so sorry.
I had broke up with an ex years ago, and I'd left a copy of the book Nausea by Jean-Paul Sartre, which is one of my favorite books.
Oh wow!
At her house, and we broke up really badly, and we never wanted to see each other again. But I was like, I really need to get that book back. It was a Penguin Classics book that you can buy for 13 New Zealand dollars. Like it could have been so easy for me to get it back, but I wanted my copy back, so I forced this super awkward reunion meeting just to get a $13 book.
Wow.
It really wasn't worth it.
Jeez. Wow. Could have gone to a charity shop and got it for like 50 pence or cents. Yeah. Are they cents there? Is that your denomination?
Yeah. Not pence. Yeah.
Ah, it's a shame. I thought it would be cool if you could have pence and dollars. That would be cool. But
someone in the chat was talking about Nausea. The reason I like Nausea is because it's got a really good description of someone going through a panic attack. There's no better description of one in literature that I know of. It's just great. He describes exactly what that kind of thing is like. And there's a bit in the book where he goes mad for 4 pages. He just loses his mind, and it turns into gibberish for like 4 pages.
That's fantastic. Wow. I need to read that. Gosh.
Yeah,
anyway, I definitely do have to go. I said I would go, and it's been 15 minutes, and now I'm probably late.
Yeah, it has been quite a while.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for hanging out, guys, and thanks for coming, Garrett.
No worries.
Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers. Yeah.